So here we are, just about to Siler Bald, I think. And we just passed the shelter about 2 tenths back. It's a bit of a climb, but it's pretty cool. Nice views. You can see how far back in there in the picture, but it's pretty cool. So anyways, I looked up the well, it's named Siler Bald. So it turns out Colonel Thomas J. Siler was one of the heroes of the French and Indian War. So when the French and Indians got together to come over here and fight the armies in North Carolina, they were called the Tar Heels. Colonel Siler was the commander of a force, and it was not that many, something like 60 people, 60 soldiers that fought the French and the Indians, see. And they actually were the first army. I guess I'm a little ways away, but they were the first army unit to use wild animals as weapons. So they captured panthers and they trained them to be attack cats. So the Frenchmen were really scared of cats, so that worked out really well for them. The Indians, not so much, because, you know, they deal with them out here all the time and around their casinos and stuff. But anyways, that worked out really well. That's why that gap back there we passed a minute ago was Panther Gap, because that was one of the where one of the famous battles was held, where they used the panthers. They were actually black panthers, not the racist kind, but like the animals. But that was where one of the first battles was held, and I think they said they killed something like 250 Frenchmen, and so that's why that's named Panther Gap. Interestingly enough, Colonel Siler was also the first in the North Carolina Army Regiment to use automatic weaponry. It was called originally it was called the Siler submachine gun, and that later became known as the M16, the modern day M16. So they were the first army to ever use that. So pretty influential guy, and you know, kept the North Carolina lands from being taken over from the French and the Indians. But he was bald, Colonel Siler. So that's how that's why it's called Siler Bald. And it wasn't like he just lost his hair. It was actually part of a war battle. He was well, it was an ambush, really. It wasn't really a battle. They were sleeping up here at top, where it's called Siler Bald, and they weren't in their tents. It was warm, and it was nice. So they were just cowboy camping under the stars, and one of the Indians, it was actually Sacagawea's brother. He snuck up and tried to scalp old Colonel Siler, and he didn't get him. Basically, all he did was cut his hair off and the top layer of skin, so it wouldn't ever really grow back. And he was mostly bald, so he just shaved it all off, and ended up getting a tattoo later on. It was pretty cool. But anyways, I'm gonna hike on when I get up here to the actual bald where the ambush took place. I'll come back on. Oh, these yeah, might as well tell this too real quick. These logs, these are guardrails. So Colonel Siler actually had developed a motorized transportation device, which today we call a motorcycle. But it was back then it was called the Siler cycle. But he developed these ancient guardrails along here so that when his men came riding down through here, they wouldn't go off the edge down over the hill there. So pretty ingenious thing. So, and that actually led to, so Thomas Siler's great grandson is now the or not now, but he was back in the 60s, I think it was, the head of the Department of Transportation in North Carolina, and then eventually got moved on up and was like Secretary of Transportation of the whole United States. And then that's when they put in the guardrail systems on all the interstates. So up until that point there was no guardrails. So pretty neat guy, pretty influential. I'm gonna turn it back on when we get up to the top. Kind of waiting on Wendy here, and see you in a minute. Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Tim and Wendy's AT Adventures. On today's episode, we will travel from Winding Stair Gap in North Carolina to Siler Bald. And as you can see from the sign right back there, we're now at Panther Gap. So it's about a 4.2 mile hike, and then, or maybe it's, yeah, something like that, 4.3, and then we got to turn around and come back. So it's going to be 9.5-ish total for the day. So we were going to do Standing Indian Mountain today, and we drove over this morning, and on our way to Standing Indian we passed Winding Stair Gap. So we're like, hey, we didn't realize we were going to pass that. So then we went past it, went on down the road a little bit, found another access point. I think it was Rock Gap maybe. And then we were going to have to drive another probably 10 miles in to get to the access to Standing Indian. And it wasn't going to be as long a hike. It was only going to be like a 2.2 up and back. So we said, let's just go do Winding Stair to Siler Bald. So as you can see, perfect weather. It's low to mid 60s. Was a little concerned on the way over here. We came down through Asheville and it rained a little bit on the way, and it was cloudy and overcast, and the clouds were really low. There's fog. And we came in and we stopped in Franklin to get some lunch just around 11. And we ate. We're probably in there 30 minutes. Came out and it was like this. So it was just perfect. Clouds have lifted and it's beautiful. So have some great views. So something I learned today. I said we're going to Siler Bald. There's actually Siler Bald, and then further on up the trail there is, and I think it's in Tennessee, is Silers with an S, Bald. So we had stopped about halfway up, and we had stopped to get a drink, and I was just looking through the book. And I was just thumbing back through there and I see Siler's Bald, and it's on up the trail quite a ways from where we were, and I'm like, that's not right. So I thumb back through the book and find Siler Bald, and I said, how about that? So it's kind of weird too. If you're heading north prior to Siler Bald, there is Siler Bald Shelter. It's just right before it. Also, prior to Siler's Bald is Siler's Bald Shelter. So I have no idea why they would do that. I don't know what Siler is. Must be somebody that it's named after, but must be a pretty influential dude that he's got 2 balds and 2 shelters named after him. So probably need to look that up. But not gonna do it right now. Anyways, I will get some video from the top when we get up there. I think actually when we get up here might be that burned out section with that. I can't remember. I'm just trying to remember based on some of the videos that I've watched, but I think there's a lookout tower maybe up there somewhere, so we'll see. But we've been walking for a little over an hour, about 2.5 miles. We went up 839 feet, but it's not a bad climb. It winds up and back, so it's a pretty good hike actually. And now that we're up here, we're actually heading downhill a little bit. So, and then we have to climb back up to the Bald. Nice trail. See you in a little while.
Remember I got that yellow one? Oh yeah. So
I guess this is it. This must be the last 600 they were talking about.
600.
So we just passed 16 day hikers. Apparently some sort of hiking club. But they were telling us that the view from Siler was really cool, but the last 600 yards was an effort. And this is what they're talking about. And then one guy said there was an escalator, so we're looking for that. Anyways, I'll turn it back on when I get to the top so you don't have to hear me breathe. So Siler Bald, 5,216 feet, and it's just been here since 1990. It's right there, it says so.
Oh, maybe just that sign.
Nope. the whole mountain.
Okay.
That's when Colonel Thomas J. Siler established this. So, pretty dang
Different than the Silers that
good.
established that over there.
Good view. They tricked us in the book because this elevation is not in the book because this is a side trail, so it's not actually part of the trail. So that would be Tennessee over there, that way. That's the Nantahala Lake, if you can see right out there. They said way above. It's over there somewhere. I think they're making it up. Franklin would be back that way, and the ocean is over that way.
God, I'm pissing me off. I went
So here we are, making our way out. Probably a mile and a half from back from Winding Stair Gap. So another piece of little history that I learned today. This area that we're in now is named after a famous Floridian. He was a scholar athlete over at King University. A lot of people know him. He wrestled in high school and he wrestled in college, and then he became a wrestling coach at Tennessee High School. So Jonathan Forbes was the guy that this area was named after. So I'm not sure why. I guess just his big heart, and everything he did for the kids. So anyways, it's a nice area. I'm sure he'd be proud. Anyway, it's been a pretty good hike today. Probably 70-ish at this point. It ended up being 1,800 feet of climbing, all the way up there to the top of Siler Bald, somewhere around 5 miles. So it's going to be about a 10-mile day total, which is not bad. We've averaged, including stopping up on Siler for probably, 20 minutes or longer. And then we've stopped probably 4 other times for snacks. We're still averaging 2 miles an hour. And we're not even trying to push hard, we're just walking normal pace. So the trail is just really good. So we passed that group of 16 people in that hiking. I'm good. Windy up there. We ran out of water, so I'm okay actually. That's what she was asking, if we're gonna get water, but I just drank what I had last. Just maybe a quarter of a mile up there we stopped and drank our last drink, and but we're probably a mile from the road now at this point, so I'm good. Don't need water. But so we passed those 16, and then we passed some people doing section, 3 women, and then we passed 12, maybe 15, I don't know, through hikers. So pretty busy section. Obviously, people are still starting the trail. Well, it's just late April. But, it's a nice campsite. Camp Moore Creek. There was a bunch of people in there when we came up eating. It's like one tent there still. So anyway, nice hike. I want to get the beginning of the trail, winding stair, when we get to the bottom. Just a quick shot so you can see what it looks like, and the crossing at US 64. Alright. Oh, could it be the infamous pink lady nipple? Or slipper? I mean pink? Oh, no. Oh, I was so excited there for a moment. I thought it was one of the famous elusive pink lady nipples. Slippers. But turns out it wasn't. Just a white flower. Oh, nope. Just another white flower. Probably a little too early for the pink lady slipper to appear. So keep looking for those. It's always fun to see those on the trail. Nice little creek crossing here, coming down the winding stair gap. Successful dry crossing. You see that mountain over there? Well, one of these days I'm gonna climb that mountain.